Well, folks, you think American truck manufacturers made some boneheaded decisions? Wait till you hear what happened across the pond. I'm talking about European trucks that had everything going for them: advanced engineering, decades of reputation, loyal drivers, and then bam, gone faster than a CB signal in a dead zone. But here's the kicker that'll really get your gears grinding. Most of these European rigs were actually better than what we had stateside. Better fuel economy, more comfortable cabs, technology that was years ahead of Detroit. So why'd they get the axe? The answer ain't what you think, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why the European trucking game is a whole different animal than what we're used to here in America. See, while we Americans love our long-nosed Petes and KWs, Europeans have been dealing with strict length limits, narrow roads, and fuel costs that would make your wallet cry. That's created a whole different breed of trucking and some damn fine machines that most American drivers have never even heard of. Today, we're counting down 15 European trucks that got canceled. And trust me, some of these stories will make you madder than a dispatcher on a Friday afternoon. First truck, ERF European. Now folks, ERF stood for Edwin Richard Fodin, and this British company built some of the toughest trucks to ever roll down a European highway. The ERF European was their flagship, a conventional cab design that could go toe-to-toe with anything Volvo or Mercedes could throw at it. These rigs were built for the long haul across Europe with comfortable cabs and reliable powertrains. British drivers swore by them, said they were the most dependable trucks on the continent. The build quality was old school, solid. None of this plastic fantastic stuff, but here's what killed ERF, and it's a story we've heard before: corporate buyouts. MAN bought them in 2000, stripped out all the good stuff, and turned ERF into just another badge on a German truck. By 2007, the ERF name was dead and buried. The real tragedy? These trucks were still selling well when they got axed. It wasn't about performance or reliability. It was about corporate bean counters who didn't understand what ERF meant to British truck. Second truck, Fodin Alpha. Speaking of Fodin, let's talk about the Alpha. This was a truck that looked like it came from the future. All angles and aerodynamics when everyone else was still building boxes on wheels. The Alpha featured a tilting cab that gave mechanics easy access to the engine, and the aerodynamics actually worked. Drivers reported fuel savings that would make any fleet manager smile. Plus, the interior was years ahead of the competition. But Fodin made the same mistake a lot of innovative companies make. They were too far ahead of the market. European drivers in the 80s wanted trucks that looked like trucks, not spaceships. The Alpha scared off traditional buyers. When Packer bought Fodin in 1980, the Alpha was one of the first casualties. They kept the Fodin name alive for a while, but the innovative spirit died with the Alpha. Third truck, Sedan Atkinson Strato. The Sedan Atkinson Strato was Britain's answer to the European cab-over revolution. This truck combined British engineering with continental styling, and for a while it looked like a winner. The Strato featured excellent visibility, a comfortable cab, and you could spec it with all the best European engines: Cummins, Perkins, Gardner. The ride quality was smooth, and the handling was better than most European trucks of the era. But Sedan Atkinson was fighting an uphill battle, folks. They were a small British company trying to compete with the deep pockets of Volvo, Mercedes, and Scania. Quality wasn't enough when you couldn't match the marketing budgets. The company changed hands multiple times before finally disappearing in 2006. The Strato died along with British truck manufacturing independence. Fourth truck, Leland Marathon. The Leland Marathon was supposed to save British trucking. Modern design, reliable powertrains, and competitive pricing. It had everything the market demanded in the late 70s. Leland positioned the Marathon as their premium long-haul truck, and it delivered. The cab was spacious and comfortable. The visibility was excellent, and you could spec it with enough power to handle European mountain passes. The Marathon was popular with British fleets who wanted to support domestic manufacturing. The build quality was good, and the dealer network was strong. For a few years, it looked like Leland might have a winner. But British Leland was a mess, folks. Quality control was inconsistent, labor strikes were constant, and management couldn't get out of their own way. Even a good truck couldn't save a company that was falling apart. When Leland finally collapsed, the Marathon went down with the ship. Another promising British truck killed by corporate incompetence. Fifth truck, DAF 2800. Now we're talking about a truck that changed European trucking forever. The DAF 2800 was the first European truck designed specifically for long-haul comfort, and it set the standard that everyone else had to follow. The 2800 featured a spacious cab with a flat floor, excellent visibility, and creature comforts that American drivers would recognize. This wasn't just transportation. It was a mobile office and bedroom rolled into one. DAF's engineering was always top-notch, and the 2800 was no exception. The ride quality was exceptional, the handling was precise, and the build quality was everything you'd expect from the Dutch. These trucks were built to run for decades. But the 2800 fell victim to its own success, folks. When DAF updated it to the 3300 series, they changed everything that made the 2800 special. The new truck was more efficient, but less characterful. Today, restored 2800s are worth serious money among European collectors. That's how much drivers respected this machine. Sixth truck, Mejerus Douts. Mejerus Douts built some of the most distinctive trucks in European history. That air-cooled Deutz engine sound was unmistakable. You could hear one coming from miles away. These German trucks were built for serious work. Construction, heavy haul, municipal applications. If the job was tough, you wanted a Mejerus Douts. The build quality was typical German over-engineering at its finest. The air-cooled engines were brilliant for certain applications. No radiator to freeze, no coolant to leak, and they'd run in conditions that would kill water-cooled engines. For construction work, they were perfect. But the market was changing, folks. Emission regulations made air-cooled engines obsolete, and fuel economy became more important than durability. Mejerus Douts tried to adapt, but they were fighting a losing battle. When Iveco absorbed the company, the distinctive Mejerus Douts character disappeared. Another unique voice in European trucking was silenced forever. Seventh truck, Burlet Stradair. The French Burlet Stradair was one of the most advanced trucks of its era. Air suspension, power steering, and a cab design that was years ahead of the competition. This truck had everything. Burlet's engineering was always innovative, and the Stradair showcased their best work. The ride quality was exceptional, the handling was precise, and the comfort level was unmatched by European standards. The Stradair was popular with French long-haul operators who appreciated its advanced features. The fuel economy was good, the reliability was solid, and the dealer support was excellent. But Burlet was struggling financially, folks. The French truck market was too small to support multiple manufacturers, and the company couldn't compete internationally. When Renault bought them in 1978, the Stradair was discontinued. The merger created Renault Trucks, but the innovative spirit of Burlet died with the acquisition. French trucking lost its most creative voice. 8th truck, Savm SM. Savm was the result of a merger between several French truck manufacturers, and the SM series was their attempt to create a world-class truck. For a while, it looked like they might succeed. The SM featured modern styling, comfortable cabs, and reliable powertrains. French drivers appreciated the attention to detail and the smooth ride quality. These trucks were designed for European conditions. Savm's dealer network was strong in France, and the company had ambitious plans for international expansion. The SM was supposed to be their ticket to global success. But the French truck industry was consolidating, folks. Too many manufacturers, chasing too few customers. When Savm merged with Burlet to form Renault Trucks, the SM designation disappeared. The truck lived on under different names, but the Savm brand was history. 9th truck, Pegaso Troner. Spain's Pegaso built some of the most distinctive trucks in Europe, and the Troner was their masterpiece. This wasn't just a truck. It was a statement of Spanish engineering pride. The Troner featured unique styling that you couldn't mistake for anything else. The cab was comfortable, the visibility was excellent, and the build quality was solid. Pegaso knew how to build a truck. Spanish drivers loved the Troner because it was built for their specific needs. Hot weather, mountain roads, and heavy loads, the Troner handled it all with ease. The reliability was legendary. But Pegaso was a small player in a big market, folks. They couldn't compete with the marketing budgets and dealer networks of the major European manufacturers. Quality wasn't enough anymore. When Iveco bought Pegaso in 1990, the Troner was one of the casualties. Spanish trucking lost its most distinctive voice, and Europe became a little more homogeneous. 10th truck, Ster 91. Austria's Ster built trucks for the mountains, and the 91 series was their flagship. These rigs were designed to handle alpine passes that would challenge any truck, and they delivered. The Ster 91 featured all-wheel drive options, powerful engines, and a chassis that could handle serious abuse. Austrian and Swiss drivers swore by them for mountain work. Nothing else came close. The build quality was typical Austrian precision, everything engineered to perfection and built to last. These trucks were designed to work hard in the toughest conditions Europe could offer. But Ster was too specialized, folks. They built great mountain trucks, but the European market wanted versatility. When MAN bought them, the 91 series was discontinued in favor of more conventional designs. Today, surviving Ster 91s are prized by collectors who appreciate their unique capabilities. They represent a time when trucks were built for specific purposes, not mass market appeal. 11th truck, Roman diesel. Romania's Roman-built trucks behind the Iron Curtain, and the diesel series was their attempt to compete with Western European manufacturers after the fall of communism. These trucks were built tough. They had to be, to survive Romanian roads and maintenance standards. The engineering was simple but effective, and the price was right for Eastern European operators. The Roman diesel featured basic but functional cabs, reliable powertrains, and the kind of durability that comes from necessity. These weren't luxury trucks, but they got the job done. But competing with Western manufacturers was tough, folks. Roman couldn't match the technology, comfort, or dealer support of the established players. The company struggled to find its place in the new European market. When MAN formed a joint venture with Roman, the distinctive Romanian character was gradually eliminated. Another unique voice in European trucking was silenced. 12th truck, Tatra T815. Czechoslovakia's Tatra built some of the most unusual trucks in the world, and the T815 was their masterpiece. Air-cooled engines, backbone chassis, and all-wheel drive, this truck was like nothing else. The T815 was designed for extreme conditions, military use, construction work, and applications where conventional trucks would fail. The engineering was brilliant, even if it was unconventional. Tatra's backbone chassis design provided incredible strength and flexibility. The air-cooled engines were reliable and easy to maintain. For specialized applications, nothing could touch a Tatra. But the T815 was too specialized for the general trucking market, folks. European operators wanted conventional trucks that any mechanic could service. Tatra's unique engineering became a liability. The company survived the fall of communism, but the T815's days were numbered. European trucking was standardizing, and there was no room for unconventional design. 13th truck, Scod Liaz. Another Eastern European manufacturer, Scod Liaz division built trucks for the Soviet bloc market. The Liaz trucks were simple, rugged, and designed to work in harsh conditions. These trucks featured basic but reliable engineering. No fancy electronics, no complex systems, just honest trucks built to haul freight across Eastern Europe. The maintenance was simple and parts were cheap. Liaz trucks were popular in their home market because they were affordable and dependable. For operators who couldn't afford Western European trucks, they were the perfect solution. But when the Iron Curtain fell, Liaz couldn't compete with Western manufacturers, folks. The trucks were too basic for the new market, and the company lacked the resources to modernize. Skoda eventually sold the Liaz division and the brand disappeared. Another casualty of European political and economic changes. 14th truck, Yelts. Poland's Yelts built trucks for the Eastern European market, and they were known for their durability and simplicity. These weren't sophisticated machines, but they were reliable workhorses. Yelts trucks featured basic engineering that prioritized reliability over refinement. The cabs were functional, the powertrains were simple, and everything was designed for easy maintenance. Polish drivers appreciated Yelts trucks because they were built for local conditions. Rough roads, harsh winters, and limited maintenance facilities, Yelts trucks handled it all. But like other Eastern European manufacturers, Yelts couldn't survive the transition to a market economy, folks. The company tried to modernize, but they lacked the resources to compete with Western manufacturers. 15th truck, Volvo F89. The Volvo F89 wasn't just a truck. It was a revolution on wheels that showed the world what European engineering could accomplish. The F89 featured the first truly ergonomic truck cab in European history. Flat floor, excellent visibility, and comfort levels that made American trucks look primitive. This wasn't just transportation. It was a mobile office designed for professional drivers. Volvo's engineering was revolutionary. The turbocharged diesel engine provided power and fuel economy that seemed impossible. The ride quality was car-like and the handling was precise. European drivers had never experienced anything like it. But here's what made the F89 special and why its cancellation caused such an uproar. This truck proved that European manufacturers could build better trucks than anyone else in the world. It set standards that everyone else had to follow. There you have it, road dogs. 15 European trucks that got the axe when they should have kept rolling. Some died because of corporate greed, others because of political changes, and a few just because the market moved on. But here's what gets me fired up about this whole deal. Most of these European trucks were actually better than what we had here in America at the time. Better fuel economy, more comfortable cabs, advanced engineering that Detroit couldn't match. The difference is that European truckers never had the political power that American drivers had. When the corporations decided to kill these trucks, there wasn't much drivers could do about it. That's a lesson we need to remember